Hello everyone, welcome to Mucho Gusto, my podcast. Today it's a great day because we're talking about Dua Lipa. But first, let's talk about today's cover art. It's Marcelle dancing the Bolero in Chilperic, or Chilperic as you wish. And of course it's made by the genius Toulouse-Lautrec, Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec, if you want the full name. And he's a very unique painter from the ending of the 19th century. What happens with him is that he does this kind of impressionism, and that means not doing something that's as close as reality as we had seen in other art movements, for example, all of the academicism before, or the academical art. And I really like this, and I used it for this episode because it shows a performer. Marcelle, the one that's dancing with the dress, she's performing in the play Chilperic, which was a comedy play. And I really like this painting for this episode because it captures the essence of what a performer is. It's someone that's putting up like customs, emotions, like everything in order to be part of this representation surrounded by 1,000 people. And still, she is the focal point. I mean, there's even like a king in the play, which you can see in the upper left side, but she's still the moment. She's still the one that's the most important. And I feel that happens with Dua Lipa, because even though she's surrounded by so many incredibly talented individuals, the band, the dancers, even the assistants to the show, she still steals the show, you know? And I really like that, and I think you can vibe with this painting as well. So, that's it for the cover explanation. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to follow me everywhere, on Instagram at DisGusThing on TikTok at DisGusThing, and in YouTube, just search DisGusThing. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Bye. DULA PEEP, DULA PEEPA, as you want to name her. The amazing artist that has been like booming since quarantine, basically, and has transformed herself into a true pop icon. I believe that, and I believe that Dua is just an amazing performer that's just blows my mind. Recently, as I announced on the first episode, I saw her, and she was like right here. So close, so close. It was a lovely experience, and I'll tell you a little bit about it, but today's focus it's on how Dua has transformed through the times, through the motions, you know? I'm not a Dua specialist, neither am I like a professional critic or something. This is just what I think and what I really like about her at the moment. Because guess what? I began without liking her. I was like a few years ago, one of my best friends, he was like the biggest fan of Dua Lipa, and I wasn't. I was like, her music's okay. And now I just look like a clown because I like stayed for like 8 hours in a line to see her, and I got to the second line. So, you know, things change, life changes. For example, my microphone changed, and now you can hear me. We could even do some ASMR. Hi, hello. But we won't do that because it's too awkward. So, with that in mind, I'm so happy. Today's been a happy day. What can I tell you? It's a lovely day. I worked out and I'm feeling amazing. So, let's do it. I think the first album of Dua Lipa, called Dua Lipa, it brought us like a little taste of what she had to offer. And her talent was like very raw. If you could describe her first album in one word, I would say it's a little bit raw. Because you can definitely tell that there's interesting stuff going on. And basically, most of this era, I got informed by a video by the creator Jasmine Said, which I'll link in the description for those of you that are in YouTube. For those of you that are not in YouTube, I'll recommend you to check it out because you can see my lovely face. And this era, she was very into you know, the beginning of pop, the beginning of her persona in the stage. and it was a little bit rough at the beginning, I won't lie. Like, there are certain songs which I don't personally enjoy in this album. However, there were some bangers that really like push her into charts, into new artists, and into the public's consciousness that, oh my god, Dua Lipa exists, you know? And that was the basis of her career, basically. In my experience, the first time that I ever listened to, oh, Dua Lipa is a person, my first experience was when I saw her in the final of the 2018 Champions League. She was already like a European known artist. You know, youngsters that are trying new music, Dua Lipa was well known because of her little hits that she had so far. She really blew into popularity with the meme. We all know it. We have all talked about it, and you know, it's a meme. It's like the best thing ever. I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe it. There's like a saying in English and Spanish which describes like this sturdiness, and she couldn't really like move with the music. She was a very raw performer, as I said before. She could sing, she could dance, but it wasn't like very enjoyable to see her. And this is the problem right here, right there. This is the problem that began with her identity, is that she wasn't like good enough. When literally she was singing internationally and had like charting songs, but she wasn't good enough, you know? That's very sad because there's a certain part that could be attributed to society's gender roles. Because there are some performers who are male that can't even hold a note and they literally suck when they're live, but we still listen to them and no one says anything. However, with women and especially with pop stars, there's this very strong focus on what she should sound like, she should be like. And that's a little bit sad because it's like the other side of the coin, the part that we don't talk enough. And it's that literally, as the meme said, we all bullied Dua Lipa to change. And that's something that's not good, you know, because we treat the same, objectively, the same position of stardom between men and women in a different way. And that's not good, you know. It should be equal judgment. And it's not that she doesn't have talent. It was that her talent didn't adjust to our perception, and that's unfair. But sometimes life's unfair, and you know, we can talk and make a little bit more conscious decisions when we judge artists in the future. I think it's also like a learning place for the audience, but you know, it's extremely hard to change everyone's mind. So that's the situation. That's what I can tell you, like, from my position. I learned with Dua Lipa's career and stuff that I judge women artists in a different way than male artists. And that's not right. And, you know, it's for me to change. And I believe that having these spaces where we can talk and discuss these realities is the key. So I invite you to reflect and change maybe the way you're thinking about it. Who knows? It's your responsibility. Anyway, continuing with Dua Lipa, that meme with the new rules, you know, power, also made her more popular. And the time that I like really got hooked with one of her songs was with One Kiss with Calvin Harris. That's a little bit later, but it really set the base of Dua Lipa was an artist, like someone who had like a little bit of recognition and like a lot of things on her way to set her up for absolute stardom. And the next phase of her career, Future Nostalgia, is not only based on her pure raw talent. Let me explain. Okay, so the main thing that people said on what changed from Dua from the 2018s, from the 2019 era, into Dua Lipa from Future Nostalgia, it's that, oh my god, she improved dancing, she improved singing skills, and she did, but there was a lot more. Dua Lipa was hooked with some awesome producers, let me tell you that. I have written down here Jeff Basker, which was one of the producers of Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye, Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, Madonna, she got like the star treatment. After this little trial and error with the end of her first album and these hits that were coming her way, it was the time to take her talent and make it into like a, basically a sellable product. Back to the singing and dancing, that very much improved. Like, taking away from gender roles even, she just became a more skilled person into dancing. Like, you can tell the rhythm and the counts and everything's going like she's thinking about it and it's executing in a beautiful way. I think the turning point for this, it's the MTV Music Awards of 2019. At this time, we had already had like a little bit of the singles that were going to be on Future Nostalgia. Don't Stop Now was already out, And this mixed with her previous records and the skill that she had learned gave us an iconic moment. That video of Dua Lipa walking down with a catsuit, full black, like with 1,000 dancers in yellow at the background, and they just dancing. It's one of the best live productions I've seen. It just gives me the chills, to see her coming down as such a powerful performer. I really like that. Especially once you go further into this presentation, there's this little dance break from Don't Stop Now that has evolved within itself. And that dance break, that's when I think Dua Lipa became a superstar. When she was able to take all of what she had learned, all of her talent, all of the stuff, take the chance basically in a very, very viewed and like live setting and just give it everything. I think her personality in the media, it's always very calm, very chill, and very sweet. I think Dua has built a persona that only shows her sweet side and her little, heart eyes to the world. And that's like one of the things with stardom. Like, we can only judge by what we are seeing publicly. We would never know how Dua really is because she is a persona. She's like a fictitious character that we see get up on stage and dance and sing along to the music that we like. And after all, it's like extremely hard to separate what's the real Dua and what's Dua the star, which it's very interesting as she progresses as an artist, because at the end you can only keep up an act for like a limited amount of time. And I'm not saying like this is negative or hypocritical in like any way. This is just how being a performer works. And it's quite interesting to realize that. It kind of breaks away the fantasy, of course, but it's another way to appreciate what someone's doing. And I really like to break that down to see like, oh my god, this is Dua being a performer, or this is organically there. And I think that really shows in Future Nostalgia. Why? Because you can tell that Dua is like, at this point, she has had such a great directions from great mentors and such an amount of preparation that Future Nostalgia, when it got released in 2020, it was something. Like, everyone was attracted to it. There wasn't an exception of a person that hasn't listened like to one of her songs. Or I think Dua became like, it's not only like the concept of household name, she became like a global name. She became someone that appeared everywhere, a superstar, as I have said before. And regarding the aesthetics, vintage will always be in, but to do it in the 2020s was a great choice, because if you remember, in the 2000s there was nostalgia from the 70s. So now we are having like secondhand nostalgia from the 70s, but from the 2000s. So it's complicated, but it worked. It really worked. So with all that in mind, let's celebrate like a little bit of Dua Lipa's Future Nostalgia era. I'll tell you what are, to the date, my top 5 songs from this album. The first one is Be The One. Be The One, it's not from Future Nostalgia, but it has the sound and the little calm, and it's in the live show that I saw. So, you know, I'm counting it in as part of future nostalgia, and you can't do anything about it. So, Be the One was this, you know, 80s calm vibe, which I didn't like at first. It wasn't like my cup of tea. It was like too calm, and I felt that there was not like a great climax to the song until I listened to it live. When you listen to it live, it just becomes such an exciting experience. Like the power of the song is turned to an 11, and you can really feel like, oh my god, this is danceable. This is something that I want to move my body to. It's not longer that processed and like repetitive song that it was. It changed because of the performance, and there's some power in that. It's like a testament of what a great performance can do. I believe that after the performance, I really thought that Be the One became a euphoric feeling song, like a very strong anthem basically for life, and I think that's beautiful, and I really enjoy this song now. It's on my 5th spot though, so it cannot be that good. Okay, Fever. Fever is another song that the performance made it for me. Like, or right before the performance, I think it was more into listening to a lot of Dua Lipa because I was getting myself in the mindset, getting the lyrics down in my mind. It was all getting ready to just yell out at the performance, which I did, and I actually fainted a little bit 3 times because I was just yelling out so much without any breeze, without any, like, I gladly had a fan and that helped me to push it through, but I was dying for like a second. But it was definitely worth it, don't get me wrong. It has a touch from the French electropop wave that we have had for the last years, and that two worlds meeting, it was cool for me because since like a few years back, thanks to some friends of mine, I began listening to a lot of French electropop. So, you know, I know my L'Impératrice, I know my, who else? Polo and Pan, I know, Paradis, which is one of my top artists from all time, and that little spice from, you know, and what they're doing over there mixed with Dua's pop was such a rich song. Like, it's like, I really like all of the undertones of it. You can listen to it and just get the feelings that they're transmitting to you, even if you don't know French. I know French and I wasn't able to understand half of the lyrics, and just get that down in your system. It's amazing. Also, I think it's one of the best songs that I have listened to that you get slowed down and still get like an even better feeling. I do that a lot, and I would recommend you. It could be a future episode of this podcast on slow down songs. You could just search that up on Google and put on the first link, and you'll be pleased because it's such a different experience. It's you feel like in a moment in a movie where someone's drunk or drugged and they just get like out of their existence. I feel that. So I believe that Fever, it gives you that without being slowed down, and once you slow it down, it just gets like awesome. The third song was my alarm song for like a year, even more, and it's That Kind of Woman. That Kind of Woman, it's definitely like a B-side song. It's the song that few people will listen, and it's part of the Moonlight edition of Future Nostalgia. And as one of the bonus tracks, which you wouldn't get otherwise, it's not that popular. However, I think it's just so nostalgic. Who would have thought that? Future Nostalgia being nostalgic? Oh my god. I know it's obvious, but it is nostalgic from the 80s, not from the 70s. And I just, it's going to sound super cheesy again, but I think that song really captures like the feeling of being in love with someone and how it gets portrayed in media. It gave me so much vibes from like San Junipero's aesthetics. Ending from 80s movies that you see and everyone gets together and everyone jumps and the frame freezes and it just goes to the credits. It gave me that. That song gave me those vibes. And it's beautiful because you can get so much from an auditorial experience. It gives you like a lot of visuals, and I really enjoy that. Plus, it's just great on repeat. Like, I would put it up like while I was doing homework for like thousands of times. And it was one of my most listened songs from 2020. Okay, Levitating. Levitating was my dancing song for like a year of quarantine. I have such a personal attachment to it after all that we have been through in recent years. I was just dancing around, and I think I've mastered all of the sounds from the song because I have put on my headphones and just listen to like I'll listen to one instrument, and you listen to all of them. And for example, something that broke the illusion of, oh, this is a song, to, wow, this has a lot of layers, was when I put on my headphones and listened to Levitating, and I just decided to listen to the synth that goes wah 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 wah. You know, it's not the best imitation. That was horrible, actually. But it was such a strong sound when I listened to it live. I remember Dua Lipa. She was on a little cart of a crane in top of the stage, and she was just floating or levitating around us. And at the moment, I just listened to that synth, the wah wah wah, so loudly. It became the song. The song is just built upon that sound, and you can tell. You can tell once you get it, you cannot get it out of your mind. It's just wah 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 wah. The you know what I'm talking about. You know, I know you're laughing probably, but you know what I'm talking about. And it's such a wonderful sound. Like, I could listen to that song for so many times, and it's just as good as the first time you listen to it. Even though there have been some controversies regarding to its copyright and its originality lately, it's still a great song that I love so much, without the baby, because, you know, we do not support people that do asshole tweets and are assholes to other people. So, you know what? Sorry. Okay, my number one song, which made me faint in Dua Lipa's concert, is Love Again. What can I put into words about this song? Love Again, it's just a beautiful song that it's just I don't know. It's like the rhythm, it's so rich from the beginning with the sampling. You can already tell like this is going to be nostalgic about that time that you don't know if you're in love with someone. It's just such a peaceful vibe, and you feel like you're ascending into this state of a messed up brain because of love. Also, the violin from this song. Oh my god, the violin. It's just beautiful. You know when Remy from Ratatouille, it's eating like a little bit of a strawberry and then a little bit of cheese, and the little circles of music and taste go behind his ears? I feel that when I listen to Love Again, because it's such a like beautifully composed with a little bit of classic, a little bit of new, a little bit of old, and all of that mixed into an amazing pastiche that it's just present for the pleasure of our ears and our hearts. Okay, so based on my experience and what I saw in Future Nostalgia, Dua is a seasoned performer, and I think that she's now at the top of what her famous era from Future Nostalgia will be. I thought that when I first bought the tickets that, oh my god, I'm going to be in Dua Lipa's most famous era of all times. And I think I'm going to have to correct myself, because Dua has a long way still. She's a seasoned performer that can pull a show like incredibly well, with such a mastery of dancing and singing and her choreography, and specifically this show, that it just leaves you in awe. She just goes out and graceful, such a beauty. Like, her hair is beautiful, her face, everything from the show, it's extremely well achieved. Also, something that has improved, but it's not, into the level of other pop stars that are similar to Dua Lipa, it's her stage presence. She is there, and I was gladly close enough that I could literally look into her eyes while she was singing, and she sings for the crowd, but you can tell the gears are turning around on her head. She's going through her choreo. So she's there, but with not such a presence as, let's say, for example, Beyonce or Lady Gaga, who literally look at the crowd and you feel connected to every and each one of the people who are there. That doesn't happen still with Dua. This doesn't make her show any less valid or her any less talented. But I do believe that she lacks like this comfortable feeling that you get from when someone has been like on the stage 1,000,000,000 times, that they just get up there and connect with everyone. I think that's lacking, and it will come with the years and experience as she progresses as an artist. But at the moment you can feel that there's definitely just a little bit of coldness to everything she does. She is putting her heart out, but we are still not in the same frequency, so we're still not getting that feeling. It is something that will happen eventually, but it's not quite there yet. For example, something that happened in my show is like a testament of how good of a performer she is, because in my show she was dancing and she lost her microphone, and she just kept on dancing with the choreo and everything. She got like a little bit spooked at first, which is totally understandable. But as soon as she grabbed another microphone, she was performing at 1,000%. So she can handle that type of stuff from live performing, which means she's prepared. She just has to get a little bit loose, you know. But even though Dua is amazing as a live artist, I would say that she shines to the camera. Dua is such a good performer for videos, for like, you know, this interview segments. She can play it up for the camera like very few people can, because usually we see artists at their best in stage performances, or this is the expectation that we have been fed by the media. But Dua, whenever you put a camera in front of her, she has such a charming aura that projects, and she's just, you know, looking at the lens and giving you everything you're asking for. It was announced a few weeks ago that Dua Lipa will be in the movie Argylle alongside Henry Cavill. I think this is Dua's time to go into like full on 1% of the world's population stardom. Like, she's already well known by her music, but she is going to be like a famous actress, and I think that's going to happen. However, I don't want to be this information and my prediction to bite me in the butt later, but I think that's like about to happen. As soon as this movie premieres, she will transform herself and show us another side of her career, and I think maybe a break from music. So I think that Dua will now take all of what she has learned into the corporality of movements with dancing, singing, and she's going to give us a very good performance as an actress. I mean, Dua Lipa already won Grammys for her Future Nostalgia album, so imagine if we see her like in the Oscars 3 years from now, 4 years from now. I wouldn't be surprised, because she's got star quality. From her presence, her attitude, her performance, whether they are live or they are recorded, she can put on a show. And I think that's like a raw gem that will be extremely polished and turned into like one of these Barbra Streisand figures. I know I'm just full of myself saying that right now, but I think it will happen. I think Dua will be a good actress. What are your thoughts? Let me know below. Let me know in the comments, in an Instagram DM. I'm always here to listen to your interpretations and comments. So, as a conclusion, Dua is a great performer, and I think she's got a future in movies. That's it. That's the podcast for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm so glad you just listened to me ramble about one of my favorite artists for like half an hour, 20 minutes. I don't even know how long this is going to be. I hope I left you with some deeper understanding and love for Dua Lipa. And please listen to the rest of the episodes of this podcast, available in Spotify, available in YouTube, available in Google Podcast, and remember to follow me everywhere at DisGusThing Insta on Insta, at DisGusThing TikTok on TikTok, and have a lovely rest of your day. Remember to drink water, and thank you. See you on the next one. Bye.